This is BBC One. Now a news report from John Humphreys.
Britain has suffered its first major losses in the Falklands Conflict. The Ministry of Defence announced tonight that the destroyer Sheffield came under an Argentine missile attack. It later sank.
My name is Keith Thompson. I was assistant purser on the MV Norland, which was requisitioned to take the 2nd Battalion of the Parachute Regiment to the Falkland Islands during the Falklands Conflict. It's been well recognised that Norland was a way coast down there. We totaled 66,700 odd miles and I think it's 268 days at sea. We got to Ascension Islands when we was told that we'll be going into take the regiment into battle at St Carlos Bay. We was given a will form to sign and one phone call home, because once we left Ascension Islands, we wasn't allowed at all to have any contact with the families. It was the first ship into San Carlos, and our instructions was if we actually hit a mine, we'd have to ram the ship ashore and get our valuable cargo of 2 para off. And we managed to get all our regiment off safely onto the beaches. But during the Falklands campaign, while we was in San Carlos Bay, we actually took on a humane side, because when the Antelope was hit, we launched our lifeboats and rescued all the crew, even though it was under attack. We had continuous bombardment by the Argentinian aircraft, and we had to shift every morning, every night. We had to shift directions, because they would get plottings where these ships was, and you could tell because one day we had a heavy attack and we had 500-pound bombs dropped in our location, but luckily enough was slightly away from there and 2 of the bombs missed us. So they knew where we was for the next day running, but luckily enough we escaped that. But we, for a good week, was in the middle of all the aircraft bombing. The hardest part for me was when the paras went off, they left a big cage with all their private belongings on board. But when the 2 para came back on board to collect their belongings, and I just saw 1 case left, then 2 cases left, and then 3 cases left. And I just realised then those people had died. They've been killed in action. And that's when reality comes in. You see somebody's belongings there who shook your hand, say goodbye, we'll see you, and then not come back. It was heart-wrenching, it really was. I'm very proud of it, and I'm very proud of the people I served with, and I'm very proud of my ship, Norland. I have a memorial in the Hull Minster dedicated to Norland and the crew and the whole task force. Sometimes it still lives with me, and the reason why it lives with me is how the hell did we do it? Yeah, you know, 3,000 meals a day, 62 days, all the bombing, all the casualties coming on board, going off, all the prisoners of war, going up and down. You wonder how the hell you did it, but we did it. I think it's really important that we do remember all those people who actually sailed on our vessels and never came home. We've got the Falklands 40th coming up, and it will reflect when I meet up with survivors of the Antelope and people we helped during the Falklands campaign, and it does bring it back. Yeah. So if you would like to support Falkland veterans like me and charities like the Norland crew, please play the Veterans Lottery.